Welcome to today's edition of Mainstream with Harpreet Singh Toor. आप सबनूं प्यार भरी सत श्री अकाल, नमस्कार, आदाब and shalom. While we are coming to end of April, we celebrated Vaisakhi in different ways, including a parade in Manhattan. So to all, first let me say this thing, that I congratulate everybody in South India who celebrate this festival, because different parts of India had different names for it. But for us, the Sikhs, it has a particularly different meaning and special reasons for it. And that is on Vaisakhi Day in 1699, Guru Gobind Singh Ji created Khalsa, where he baptized the Sikh community as a nation, not as an individual, not one person, but as a nation, and then he himself became one of the disciple of the Sikh faith. So when we go around, celebrating Vaisakhi, there are some confusions also, which I want to clear up here. Some of the people within Sikh community who do have the well meaning for everything, but they say Happy New Year with Vaisakhi. No, it is just a Vaisakhi. New Year happens in March. Magh, that's the month. The beginning of Magh is the new year for the Sikhs, Nanak Shahi calendar. Okay, so having said that, we had celebrations throughout the world, and within New York State and New York City. Okay, in New York State, we on April 8th we celebrated in Queensboro President's office. On April 9th, we had in New York State Senate, April declared as a Sikh Awareness Month, thanks to the Senator Joe Adabo and his efforts, his team efforts, and his staff. I really appreciate it, because last year it was the first time when the then Senator Kevin Thomas, who was from Long Island, he did it, and he was going to retire. Retire in the sense his district was changed and he has no options. He could not move into the new district to run. Whatever the reasons were, could be the family reasons and everything. And after that, he actually did not run. But at that time, the other senator, Joe Adabo, who co-sponsored with Kevin Thomas at that time, he promised that he will take care of it starting next year, which was this year, 2025, and which he delivered. And also, we had another Vaisakhi event in New York State Assembly, where the press conference was conducted in the conference room in Albany, which was organized by Assemblyman David Wepron and the attendant assemblyman. They were Ed Brownstein and Salaj from Almont area. Assemblywomen. Interestingly, the missing person was Jennifer Rajkumar, because last year when the resolution was passed in Assembly, there were issues, because she mentioned in there, which I'm going to discuss here in a very brief, she mentioned that a copy of the resolution should be given to the Consulate General of India. For me, yeah, I was born in India. I was born in Punjab in India. I grew up there. I grew up first in the village, then in the city, and moved around before I came to United States. But there are few things which we got to understand. I don't know how she slipped it. Indian consulate has nothing to do with New York State Assembly passing that resolution. Yeah, backdoor they do affect the things, and that could be, I'm just taking a speculation here, I hope I'm wrong, and unless and until I clear it up, I definitely will try to clear it up. That why she did not show up this year in assembly. We were there in New York State Assembly on the floor, about Vaisakhi celebration. David Wapron read about it. He recognized a couple of people on the floor, including me, Master Mahinder Singh, Dr. Mariam Singh. She actually is director with the correction department. She works with that. Rajvinder Kaur, who works not only with me, but also she works with the Assemblyman David Wapron as a community liaison, director of community affairs. And then we had Inderjeet Saluja, Professor Saab. We had Mr. Gulati from Long Island. And we had Mr. Sohota and Mr. Chima from Albany itself. So we had a couple of people there, because this is something which, again, that's my view, that we work behind the scenes to get these things done. When they are done, we just need few people to be there, because this is something which is very important to the Sikhs, of course. And the copies of that resolution that will be given to different gurdwaras, I already have from the Senate, and I will get from the Assembly also once it is done. So, congratulations to fellow Sikhs who celebrate Vaisakhi as an event, as a Sikh, for being the fellow religious people following the Sikh religion. And also again I congratulate the other people who celebrated Vaisakhi for whatever their faith are, because they do. And having said that, now going to the second part, okay, of what was happening in Pahalgam. The shooting took place, and close to 24 people, they were killed, and they were targeted based on their religion. It's a horrible thing to happen, but there are few other things which I'm going to talk about. It does not mean that it diminishes what happened in Pahalgam. Okay? It happened in Pulwama. I don't know how much at Pahalgam they knew it, but there was one thing for sure, that one of the female who lost her husband, she did make a statement on the media that had the security forces arrived on time, her husband would have been alive. They did not show up till an hour and a half after the event. The investigation is still going on. I'm still looking into the facts. Maybe next time when I do my show, I will talk about it more, when I would have more facts about it. But till then, this is what I know right now. So that's, I'm talking about based on that. So, and before that, Chatti Singhpura happened, where Sikhs were pulled out and they were killed. Okay. Madam Albright wrote a book, and in that book she mentioned about Chatti Singhpura, that how the government was perpetrator directly or indirectly of that event. Pulwama government was in a way perpetrator, because they did not, they had the intelligence, but they did not do what needed to be done, take the steps on time. And Pahalgam, we are still too early into it, And one thing is for sure, the politicians are taking the full advantage of it. And I admire the politics which our Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi plays. He knows how to play to the crowd and pull that crowd into his side. And he has succeeded before, and he has succeeded this time also. Because I will tell you the reason why I'm saying that. There was an event held at Eisenhower Park in Long Island in East Meadow. In regarding this event at Pahalgam, I was there. Some elected officials were there, and then all of a sudden, one of the speaker, people will know once they see it. I don't want to mention the name of the person. Let me leave it off the this conversation. He literally asked for full stream attack on Pakistan, including getting Pakistan declared as a terrorist state, and he pointedly mentioned about the Sikhs being targeted and our gurus being killed by the Muslims. That is something which I need to also talk about it, because we need to understand the history. Let us take a break. After the break, I will be right back. Welcome back to Mainstream. So, yes, there were other elected officials who were on the stage. I spoke to at least one of them after that, and he was not happy about it, but he said that you cannot control the people, which I agree. But at the same time, the person who spoke, he is a well-educated person to some extent, I would say, because he has done few things which are anybody, a regular person cannot do. So, some of the people left the stage after that. Now, let me tell you something. If we go through the history, yes, no doubt about it, there were wars between, Muslims and Sikhs. There was war between Hindus and the Sikhs also. And Guru Gobind Singh Ji fought maximum number of wars against Hindu Rajas. These are historical facts, and nobody is talking about it. Apparently, this gentleman ignored that fact. I don't know whether he knew about it or not, or he intentionally ignored it. I have no idea. But that is something which made me shake my head, that we are here to condemn the violence. I would have really loved to hear from him about 1984 also, when the Sikhs were targeted by the Hindu mobs. And not a single person has been punished. Yeah, they are showing one or two people, just for political things, and come around election, whether it's a national election or Delhi election or Punjab election or Haryana election, that part, northwest part of India, BJP wraps it up. Advani was one of the person who advised Mrs. Gandhi to attack Golden Temple. He himself wrote about it. Okay? So, I just wanted to put the facts as they are here. So that people can hear it, they can go to the books, they can go to the computer. These days it is so easy. You can actually Google a lot of stuff here. I'm not saying Google has everything perfect, but Google definitely has a lot of information which actually is the information which will be good to learn from. So, my condolences to the people who lost their lives, and I'm talking about the life lost from the deep of my heart. I'm not just saying it just because I'm sitting here and I'm saying it, not because I'm putting up the other examples, but I had to put them to put the things in proper perspective. When you lose somebody, you're near and dear, you know how painful it is. And we from Punjab, the people from Haryana, they don't understand everything. But people from Punjab who actually lost so much youth in 80s and 90s, particularly, they know what it is. I was listening to this guy. I knew this guy for years, but I never knew about his background. And all of a sudden, somebody, in my office, there was some issue of parking in front of my office, and this guy made some comment to him, and he actually came swinging out to that guy that how dare you. And then he started talking about, his life, and I'm quoting here exactly what he mentioned. He said that when he was a young kid with his brother and his dad, they were out in the fields with the tractor. All of a sudden, Punjab police showed up. It was night. They all grabbed them, and then they told Dad to run, because it is known in Punjab, in the current Punjab in India, East Punjab, whatever is left in India, that this was a tactic by the cops. They will tell you to run. As soon as you run, they will shoot you, kill you, saying that, okay, he tried to run away, so we killed him. In the meantime, they will shoot somebody from the cops in the leg or in the arm, claiming that he fired back, put up some gun in his hand, and get the promotion and the award and the money. And there was a cop within that group who literally stopped the officer from doing it. He said, come on, he has young 2 kids. Just let him go home. So he literally begged the officer to let him go. And somehow the officer, changed his mind, and he said, okay, I will let him go. And when he did that, they loosened him up, and he was afraid to leave, because he had heard what was happening around, that as soon as the person leaves, shoot him in the back. At that point, that cop who actually played the role of being really a good person, a human being, he told him, he said, you know what, it's okay, you can go, don't worry about it. And he came back. And we talk about why in the villages the young Sikh kids are leaving the villages, going either to the cities or leaving Punjab. Those are the reasons, along with financial reasons. Again, what happened in Pahalgam is horrendous. It should be condemned, as well as what is happening in the rest of the world, including Ukraine, Middle East, in Africa, you talk about it, Somalia. I mean, wherever there are resources, these things are happening. And somehow the cry is falling on deaf ears the way it felt in 80s and 90s when young Sikh kids were being picked up, being shot dead. Or in 84, after Mr. Gandhi's death, the women were raped, the people were killed, the young Sikh boys were killed, the young Sikh girls were abducted and raped, irrespective of their age. Even old ladies, they were raped. So we need to understand, when that religion is inducted into these kind of situations, this is what happens. Pahalgam should be, checked, not based on religion, not based on that, okay, Muslims came in and killed the Hindus. Humans were killed. Yes, they happen to be Hindus. They did ask them their religion, but at the same time, those people who came in to kill them, okay, I personally won't consider them even the human beings, because they had their some motives, but at the same time, it should be, inquired impartially, so that we can reach at the root cause of what is happening. And before I go from this chapter to discuss other things which I'm going to talk about on today's show, I would say one more thing. India has close to 12% population which is Muslim. And we have a government, BJP, which has more than 300 MPs, and they don't have a single Muslim MP, they don't have a single minister in the cabinet, they don't have a single minister as a state, and they even did not let an army person who was going to be chief of army staff to take the oath because he was a Muslim. So there is something which needs to be corrected right there in India. And same thing is I'm going to come to America now after the break, because things are happening here. And yes, we are target, believe it or not, because we are not whites. I'm sorry to say that, but yes, we are targets. Let's take a break. After the break, I will be right back. Welcome back to Mainstream with Harpreet Singh Tour. Once again, you can write at hstour@gmail.com. If you want to connect with me, please feel free to share your thoughts and everything. And yeah, some of the opinions and some of the conversation which I discuss here, they may not be liked, or whatever the reasons could be, but I will be more than happy to hear back from whosoever wants to communicate with me on those subjects. Now let us come to the United States, what's happening here. We have 100 days of the second term of Trump, and he has already signed more than 142, they call that, okay, he issued another notice that, okay, he signed this, he signed that, whether it makes sense or not. He is signing all that just because he wants to do it, no other reason. And out of this whole thing, the hard part to understand is that what is happening is 100 days, this is how, okay, when I'm just trying to get some information. Excuse me. Yeah. So what is happening here? Okay. First, let's take a look at north of our border. Liberals were about to lose till Trump came on the stage and declared he will make Canada 51st state. Justin Trudeau had to go. Carney came in, he took over, and they are fighting now. Believe it or not, I had my conversation with the Canadians, and they just don't like what is happening in America, in the United States. It's not a question of just Trump as a president, because they are shocked at the other elected, whether those are Republican or Democrats. Democrats are, they are slow to respond. Yeah, we have this media circus going on where they will go on beating, But the question is where we are today. There are a couple of things which I will tell you right now, okay? And that, first of all, America will not be treated the way it was treated. The first Trump term, yeah, people had gone back to certain things and they said, well, yeah, he came in and he will be gone. He went, then he came back. And after he came back, he actually came back with an agenda to implement as a dictator, not as a president or an elected person, but he just wants to be a dictator. I will give you the reasons for that. He has attacked every institution, including judiciary. And Kash Patel and Pam Bondi are playing along with Trump, AAPI and Department of Justice. DOJ is supposed to be under the president but independent. It's not anymore. Pam Bondi actually, when they arrested this judge in Milwaukee, she posted it on X/Twitter. Kash Patel talked about it, saying that the judges will not be spared. Which means what? The businesses already had accepted the king. We can see that. I will give you another example after this. Universities, including Columbia, I always admired Columbia as an institution which stood up for the values, which stood up for the principles. For $400 million, Columbia University actually kneeled on its knees in front of Trump. Harvard University, it's not a perfect institution. No institution is perfect. No person is perfect. We always improve. We learn and improve. But Harvard University drew a line. And when Trump administration tried to bring them to table to talk about it, after they drew the line, they refused. And there are some other universities also, including University of California, Berkeley. They are working on going to sue U.S. government. Okay. The institution, when you wipe out the institution, this is what happened when the Hitler became Hitler. He showed his colors. Okay. He did not get appointed as a dictator. He got elected by the people of Germany. And look what he did. Trump got elected by the people of United States. Look what he is doing. At the whim of his thought, his mind, he is saying and doing whatever he feels like to do, whatever he wants to do, and he just does not care. And the people who are, appointed as, on the positions as a cabinet members, they are just following him, whatever he wants. I understand, when you get elected, you have some agenda, but your agenda does not include deporting the citizens, deporting even 2-year-old kids without due process. U.S. was always considered a land where due process is there. If you are an immigrant and you being an immigrant, you actually commit a crime, all of a sudden you are all over for Republicans. But if you are a US citizen, who commit more crime than the immigrants? Nobody talks about it. The kids are getting killed. The schools are being attacked with the guns. Nobody talks about it. It's a news for one day. After that, forget it. So, for this kind of behavior happening here in the United States, I will also hold the media, the news media of United States culpable in this thing, that they are not doing their job, of what they should be doing. And guess what? This Sunday there was a correspondence dinner in Washington, D.C. Because Trump threatened, they already canceled the comedian, which was always that a comedian will speak making jokes on the president, on the sitting president, including George W. Bush, Obama. For President Trump, I think he attended only one, and after that he didn't. He threatened that if they did any jokes on him, he will sue them. They canceled it. It was low-fare event, which means what? Your First Amendment rights have been compromised. You don't have the freedom of speech. You do not have the freedom of education anymore. You do not have the freedom to travel around, because you just don't know at what point somebody will come and arrest you by pulling the masks on their face, and you don't know whether it's a mugger or it is an ICE agent. If you are doing your job right, what are you afraid of? Previous administration did the same thing. ICE will come out, they will arrest the people, they will deport the people, but they will do it by doing due process. That due process is not there anymore. There are very few and far in between voices which are talked about. I always talked about this incident at Columbia University, but I don't think I will talk about that anymore in the way I used to talk about, till Columbia University goes back to its principles. But yes, the professors there, they are already speaking up and speaking out. Let's take a break. After the break, I will be right back. Welcome back to Mainstream. Now let us talk about, in his first 100 days, tariffs are on, tariffs are off, tariffs are on, tariffs are off. Some of the shipments which you receive, some of the companies actually are adding an extra line at the bottom of the bill, tariff, the amount, and then put up the taxes. Okay? Amazon was discussing it. White House was not happy with it. Trump literally made a comment that I had a really good conversation with Bezos, and he agreed to not to do it. Bezos already gave $1 million for his inauguration, and he was one of the CEOs who was there on the stage with the President Trump, kissing the ring. Now they said that they are not going to do that. That actually shows you that even a person who is a billionaire, okay, he will not stand up. Why? Because he is afraid that he will lose his billions of dollars. Maybe if he will stand up, he may make even more money, because people indirectly protest. They cannot protest directly. Indirectly they do. They may order more stuff from Amazon, just to show their support to him if he had stood up. But no, he didn't. So what has happened so far? The groundwork is being prepared for everything, including bringing the army under control, so that at the end of the term, the current president, President Trump, if he decides not to leave, he will not leave the White House. And to do that, if he has to start the Third World War, he may. I will not be surprised if we get into the Third World War because of the policies which he is pursuing. And he considers Putin as his friend. And let's remember one thing. Russia did invade Ukraine, broke the promises and the principles which they agreed on when Ukraine was denuclearized. Ukraine had weapons of mass destruction, which means nuclear weapons. When Russia broke, they were removed from Ukraine with the assurance that its borders will be protected. And then we have a president who already is giving Russia in the name of having a ceasefire. Remember, he said that I will stop this fight within 24 hours. What happened to 24 hours? It is 2,400 hours now, plus. And war is still going on. There are more wars actually going on right now than was anticipated. And he is now negotiating with Iran, which he originally killed the deal. He imposes tariffs one day, next day he says, I will not. Today he declared that he is going to give a break to auto industry on the tariffs. Why? Because auto industry actually is going down. FedEx, UPS, they are cutting down on their staff. Why? Reduction in shipments. People are not spending. Why? Because the prices are even further up. And they are not sure if they will get what they want. And even imports, the ships are not coming. And don't get surprised if you had a shortage of toys and everything when the Christmas comes around. Why? Because as far as China is concerned, they had already been shipping a lot of stuff to different places in the world. So they have already cut down on, they are not shipping the stuff to United States. And President Trump, he talks about, I had my conversation with the Chinese. No, he didn't. Nobody called. His staff says, we had hundreds of the countries reaching out. They don't have a single country to show which they have reached an agreement with. India is trying to be the first one, which is understandable because they have same tendencies, same attitude towards the public. And when I was talking about us minorities being the target, listen to what he says. Pay attention. And you will see that how he is targeting non-whites for everything, whether it is crime, whether it is immigration. And funny thing is, Melania Trump, his wife, his current wife, she was also undocumented. She was not legal. She came on a visitor visa, and after that, she got married to him, that's when she got a green card, and that's how she became citizen. And that's how Baron Trump actually is the son of Donald Trump. And when Donald Trump says that the undocumented immigrants, children born in the United States should not be considered U.S. citizens, Barron is not a citizen then. Elon Musk, he came on a student visa. He broke the rules, but nobody's talking about it. Why? Because right now we are at a point where money is everything. And while the attention is to all these other issues, guess what? Trump and his family, they are making billions using different deals, bitcoins, starting their own coin, having the people pushing them, threatening them to buy their coin, whatever they have created, so that they can make actually money on it. And one day the stocks go down, then believe it or not, elected representatives, they get the hue that, okay, tomorrow there will be an order where the tariffs will be lowered on XYZ, and the shares of those companies which deal with that kind of merchandise, they buy their shares. Trump announces the next day, their shares go up. These elected, who are supposed to be honest representatives of the community of the U.S. citizens, they actually make millions out of that, and they are getting rich. They are becoming millionaires while Trump is getting billionaire and Elon Musk is becoming trillionaire. Elon Musk, when he was, which he still is with the Doge, he got more contracts from the federal government worth billions of dollars. And nobody's talking about conflict of interest. And in the meantime, security clearances are being taken away. Anybody who is a Democrat in any position, he or she is being fired. And Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C., a known center, Trump became the chairman by force. And there are people who cancel the show there, and there are going to be more cancellations. Yeah, he invited, Philadelphia Eagles champions to the White House, and some of the players did boycott this time again. And he pointedly made some comments. He is a liar, a criminal, and he is a vicious person who is out there for revenge or retribution, like he said. And that retribution is for him, not for you. I know I have spoken about it before. I admire that woman. I think she was from Montana, who was part of January 6th. When Donald Trump pardoned those January 6 criminals, I would call them criminals, she refused to accept that pardon. She said, no, I was wrong. That light, it is flickering. And we need actually at this point that light to be bright again. Like a light, America used to be, a star shining on a mountain, and it is not anymore. And we will see by the end of his term that America is totally changed. Europeans don't trust America anymore, and they will not, believe it or not. Canada, who always considered America as one of that friend where the friendship cannot be broken, it's gone. And Trump is threatening other countries directly that anybody who tried to deal with Canada, he will punish those countries. Those are the signs of being a dictator. Those are not the signs of a person being a Democrat representing a democracy, but of a person who is a dictator, always looking to be a dictator and always wanted to rule. And when he made that comment on the Atlantic that I rule America, not just America, but the world, that actually showed his intentions and where he wants to go and where he wants to be. So, having said that, with that note, till next time, good night and good luck.